On April 2nd, 11th Hour Games is launching Season 2, Tombs of the Erased. We've had a lot of communication, and there have been content creators that have been interviewing the 11th Hour Game Studios. I can talk about everything that's coming in Season 2, The Tombs of the Erased. I can talk about the new endgame faction, the new woven echoes. We're going to be facing formidable champion enemies and mini-bosses and earning powerful rewards along the way. Now, Tombs of the Erased is going to even enhance an already amazing crafting system in Last Epoch. I can talk about the Mysterious Weaver and her influence over Etira in this update, but I'm not, because I've been here and done that too many times. This is not the first time my mouth has dropped from a major content announcement from a studio in the ARPG space. I've had a lot of experience over the last 2 years on, wow, look what's coming from Game A or Game B or Game C. I thought about it the other night while I was watching the interview, and I'm like, I need to stop overreacting on these major announcements. Gone are the days that I'm going to overhype and get super excited about this kind of updates where it just sounds too good to be true. And I'm salivating and can't wait for the content, and I go and create content around that. I'm stopping that, and I'm going to adopt a more wait and see approach. Now, I've been disappointed too many times in the past 2 years, and instead of being optimistic, I'm going to take a more reserved wait and see approach. Now, in this video, I'm going to explain how I got here and why I've come to this decision. And we're going to discuss the games that brought me to this outcome. We've had a lot of examples in the ARPG genre of games that bring this great hype, all these promotions, and then we go and we get our game onto the hands and it falls short. So in this video, I'm going to discuss the ARPGs that I play, that I've covered in the last 2 years. And we're going to take a little bit of a deep dive in each one of them and explain why, moving forward, I'm going to take everything I hear with a grain of salt. So without further ado, let's get into it. Before I get into the games that I'm going to talk about in this video, I do want to say, obviously, there are a ton of ARPG games out there, but I'm only going to discuss the 3 that I've covered heavily on this channel. Actually, these games heavily influenced my channel, and I've played them all a lot. And those are the ones I'm going to discuss. But I am very well aware that there are a lot of other quality ARPGs out there. So the first one I'm going to talk about takes us back all the way to 2023, June 5th to be exact, and that's Diablo 4, one of the very first video games that I covered when I created my YouTube channel in 2023, and that is Diablo 4. Now, Diablo 4 came to huge fanfare, heavily marketed, AAA studio. They don't spare any money when it comes to marketing and promoting their games. And Diablo 4 was no different. And it came with a fanfare. Talk about how I said earlier that I've salivated a lot on a lot of these announcements in the past. Diablo 4 had me hook, line, and sinker. Everything. I bit on that big time. It disappointed. No matter how you want to slice and dice it, Diablo 4, I think now they're in Season 7 or Season 8. It's been very disappointing for some of the player base. Now, I do want to say Diablo 4 is a very successful game. It has a huge player base, and dare I say, it tends to lead itself to attracting the casual player base, and there's nothing wrong with that. The problem with Diablo 4 is with elevating and advancing the game. A lot of players are frustrated that none of that is happening, and I can go on and on and on. But Diablo 4 was probably the very first time that I was so hyped and so happy for a game, only to be let down. I have not played Diablo 4, I think, since season 4. I did not buy the expansion, and I will not spend another penny on Diablo 4 until the game does a 360 and there's actually content and the game has advanced and compete with some of the content and mechanics that exist in other top ARPGs. Now, that's just my opinion. And again, I have no problems. Diablo 4 has a very, very good player base, and a lot of people enjoy the content, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just not for me. So Diablo 4 is the first time, going back all the way to 2023 when it launched, Diablo 4, and that was the biggest disappointment. And taking us from 2023, we come to February 2024, Last Epoch, a game that through my community, people kept telling me about this game, and people kept referencing it as a in-between Diablo 4 and Path of Exile. It's not as simple as Diablo 4, and it's not as complicated as Path of Exile. It's kind of in between. That's kind of how everyone describes Last Epoch. So I started playing it, and on February of 2024, Last Epoch launched 1.0, and it was a major content update. I was so excited. The game has so many core functions and content and mechanics that are just really second to none. Their faction system, their crafting system, their inventory, tons of quality of life features that just other ARPGs would kill to have in their game. So I was super excited about this launch, and I don't need to tell you guys what happened. The launch was a unbelievable disaster. Technical problems, people weren't being able to get in. If you got in, the game was freezing. And now they do have an offline mode, so that kind of spared a lot of the players, but the launch was a disaster. And then when that kind of fizzled out, probably a week, 2 weeks into the launch of 1.0, people started to consistently play the game. We got to the end game, and the monolith system, the echoes, just didn't deliver. A lot of people got bored. There wasn't a lot to do, and all that hype just fizzled, and people started leaving in droves. Once again, another example of me personally getting super hyped about a launch only to be disappointed. Now, Last Epoch has a lot of good things. It has a hell of a foundation, and I'm super excited for Tombs of the Erased coming April 2nd. I'm going to be playing it. But like I said, I'm going to take a more reserved approach. I think this looks like it's going to be a banger of a game. And 11th Hour Games is a small studio, and it looks like they've learned from their 1.0 release back in 2024, February. We're actually a year. It's been a year of radio silence from them. And it looks clearly like, from the information we received and being told about what's coming with Tombs of the Erased, it looks like they've been cooking in the kitchen. So I'm looking forward to playing Tombs of the Erased. Only time will tell to see if they can deliver on all this stuff that they did fail on delivering in the launch of 1.0. Now, 11th Hour Games has said they took this year to really listen to the player base and put in systems and content that the players want, and hence why they took so long. They're not just going to rush to get stuff out. So it sounds promising, but only time will tell. But the launch of Last Epoch 1.0 on February of 2024 was another huge disappointment for me personally. The biggest one, the cherry on top, you guys probably already know where we're going with. This is Path of Exile 2's early access, which was supposed to be earlier, but it got delayed. And on December 6th, Path of Exile 2's early access went live. Now, prior to that, we got an update from Grinding Gear Games, probably the best reveal and live stream of an update, a major content update to a game. It was a mic drop moment from Grinding Gear Games to the rest of the studios. There was so much positivity coming out of that live stream from Grinding Gear Games when they showed us and demonstrated what we were going to get on December 6th. We were going to get basically early access was going to have as much content as a full release game. 3 acts, end game mechanic, new boss mechanics, just on and on and on. 6 classes. It was a mic drop moment. I've never seen such an amazing reveal and update to a content drop. And then the reaction to that live stream from the community, 100%. Everybody was so excited and unbelievably happy about what was about to come on December 6th. We are now in March of 2025. We're 3 months, I believe, into early access. Well, things are not so rosy in Path of Exile 2's early access. Now, we are going to be getting a new update, 0.2. It's going to be a major update, apparently. It's going to be happening sometime in March. I'm predicting March 28th. But Path of Exile 2's early access launch on December 6th was another demonstration of the hype train that just failed to deliver. So these are the 3 games and the moments that have brought me to where I am today. Now, please don't take this the wrong way. I have high hopes for all 3 games. And yes, if you know my content and you're with me on my live streams every evening, I even include Diablo 4 into that. Now, if I were to guess which ones are going to get out of this and right the ship, I personally feel Path of Exile 2 and Last Epoch are eventually going to become the top ARPGs in the genre. Now, Diablo 4, I suspect, is going to be the last of the 3 to get there. Now, they may be a success story from a player count perspective, from a financial perspective. Heck, they're the only AAA studio in this mix of games that I've discussed. So they have the resources, they have the financial backing to promote, market their games. And they do have an amazing player base. But unfortunately, of these 3 games, to me, in my humble opinion, Diablo 4 is going to be the last one to right the ship. How quickly, when it's going to happen, I don't know. I personally think Path of Exile 2 and Last Epoch, we're talking about a 12-month window max, where they are both going to be humming along. Personally, Diablo 4, I see more, not of a short-term win, but more of a mid to long-term win. I personally think Diablo 4 is looking at 12 to 24, 36 months before they right their ship. Anyway, that's my take. I'm sorry, I'm not going to give you a Tombs of the Erased full breakdown. I am going to be playing the game, but I wanted to share this with you and explain why I am not jumping at the bit to get this content out when we get all this information out. It doesn't mean I'm not going to do it in the future. I'm just going to be a little bit more reserved when it comes to my initial reaction. It's more wait and see from now on until, like I said, a studio consistently delivers what they announce, so what they say and what we actually experience. When those are aligned, then that's a different ball game. Then I will jump on the bandwagon. Let me know what you think. What are your thoughts? Are you looking forward to Last Epoch's Tombs of the Erased coming out April 2nd? Are you going to be playing it? And what are your thoughts on Path of Exile 2 and Diablo 4 in general? I would love to hear it. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Get in the comments section. And as always, I stream live on Twitch. Channel name is SamyCaps every evening. Come check us out. And if you can subscribe to the channel, it would really mean the world to me. I would appreciate the support of my content. And as always, thank you for watching. See you next time. The opinions expressed in this video are mine and solely mine. Healthy debate is always encouraged. Hate is never welcomed. So get over it.